Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Bleeding Crypto's Market Update. Today is Tuesday, August 27th, 10:18 a.m. local time. I hope you're having a good day, morning, or afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. Let me start off by giving my disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice. This is to be used for entertainment purposes only, for your fantasy paper trading. All right, guys, so let's take a look at what we have. So we finally have our move down. We've been doing these videos, and yesterday, especially, and the day before as well, we've been looking at the daily chart, and then we've been looking at the hourly chart for those intraday moves. So on the daily chart, this was our plan. We had a massive upthrust above this purple line, and I told you guys that the probability is 90% or higher to come back and back test it. The only thing that it doesn't happen right away. It doesn't always happen right away, though lately it has on these upthrusts. We do back test it, but this one we hadn't. We were on day 4 yesterday, and we were still above this liquidity grab support line, and we were holding at the moment, but I wanted to see a move here. If we were going to go higher, then I want to see a reclaim of this line and then hopefully complete our harmonic pattern if the upside was going to be the route we were taking. But I was still waiting for this to hit here. And I also mentioned that if we don't backtest this now and we do it later, it opens up for the seasonality of September being a down month, because I know that at some point we're going to hit this, and I'd rather do it sooner than later. So what's happened? Overnight, this morning actually, we came right to the line. I mean, again, guys, this is why the backbone of my trading system is validation and invalidation, and it's based on these back tests. These back tests to me are incredibly crucial. I use an array of indicators, but nothing is more important to me than the back test method, because it happens so often that it's a very good indicator to rely on. The other ones are just for confirmation. So I use the MACD, I use the RSI, I use the EMAs, EMA crossings, whether it's bull or bear. I use the CMF. I use an array, fibs as well. I use an array. However, I like to be able to depend, and I do depend highly on those back tests, because they're very telling, because they play out so often. Now, what I like to do now is go to the smaller time frames. Now that I got my larger time frame target hit, I now have to not decide, because I don't decide this, but I guess the better word is I have to pay attention to what the chart tells me on the lower time frames to see if indeed we do bounce from here, or if we break down. Please don't forget that we have objectives to the downside that still need to be tagged. We have a liquidity cluster from the DCT heat maps. Hopefully you guys have signed up for that. If you have not signed up for that, you can go to my YouTube page. I have a link in the description of this video that I also post on YouTube, or you can send me a DM and I'll send you the link, my referral link, so you can sign up and try it for free for a couple of days before you subscribe to it. I think I use the heat maps primarily, but he has at least a dozen different tools or more that you could also utilize for your intraday trading. For now, I just mainly use his heat cluster, because they're very accurate, and I really like the confirmation along with my TA on finding areas of liquidity for those market makers to go and grab. So going back to this here, I don't know if this is gonna play out, and I don't know if we're gonna come down here and knock this out immediately, or if we're gonna do that later on in September. So what I'm gonna do now is that we're gonna go to a low time frame, and we're gonna look for the different signals that I'm looking for in the market. So actually, you know what? We're going to do this. We're going to go to our other chart that has the more detailed information on the daily time frame. So here, excuse me, on the hourly time frame. So here's the hourly time frame. So this was, again, our projection. This would, you guys recall this oh my God, channel. I'm losing my mind here. This channel. So we're still within that channel there that we were carving out, that we put on. I think it was a couple of days ago. Let me see something real quick. I just want to make sure this isn't our. Yeah, no, this one right here. Excuse me. I was incorrect by saying that. This was the smaller time frame channel that I carved out a few days ago based on this chop. And this is what we were talking about yesterday. Yesterday when we had the video, we were here. We had broken down, we were back testing, and we were consolidating under resistance. If you haven't watched yesterday's video, please do so. And the reason I want you to do that is not because I want to show off and show you that I was right. It's because I want you to understand why I said that this is bearish. Because we're consolidating under resistance, though the bulls were showing up. So you cannot deny that the bulls put a good fight. Look at this wick. Look at these wicks. Look at these wicks. Look at these wicks that all led up to a continuation of consolidation underneath resistance. More often than not, when you break below support and you flip it into resistance and you confirm it this many times and you consolidate, it leads to a breakdown. A deviation, that's normal. A consolidation, that's a whole different story. And we ended up going to the DCT heat map, heat cluster that was right here. I moved it this morning when I did my morning brief video with my Discord team, and this is the new cluster along with other ones to the upside, and I'll show you those in a minute. We'll look at the DCT heat maps when I'm done showing you some of the points that I'm looking at here. So yesterday, like I mentioned before, we're consolidating. Then we started to break down in the afternoon. In the evening time, we're putting in these little moves to the upside, trying to regain that. And all we were doing is this. Look, this is a really cool thing for you guys to learn. Grab a horizontal line, and you see these moves to the upside. All you have to do is just snap a line here, and it's going to tell you the story. Look. Support. When we were consolidating below resistance and we were coming to the downside, the bears were smacking it down and the bulls were fighting with them. They set up a temporary area of support. Look at this here. Let me just, for my own OCD, green. There we go. Temporary. Look what happened. And then what ends up happening? We end up losing it. And then look what happens. Becomes back test, and then down she goes. Again, guys, the backbone of my trading is recognizing and understanding, first of all, the back test and what they mean and how significant they are, and the behavior of those back tests confirm to me what the next direction is most likely going to be. Doesn't mean it can't regain it, but when you have these many back test, just like we had here with no full regain, the probability is going to continue to the downside. The problem is that we all want it to go straight down to our arrow. You want it to go straight down, one candle, get it over with, and then go up. The market doesn't do that. The market needs to play with your emotions so they can maximize how much they're going to take away from you. Do you recall yesterday we had $20 billion in long liquidations? Look what they did. They cleared the books. We're down to 1.4. Think about that. Think about the amount of money that was on margin. These were the total contract value, accumulative. So what's on margin was a lot less, obviously, but they still made hundreds of millions of dollars in those long liquidations. They stood there for, look, since the 24th, just playing with you, making you think it's going to go higher, and they wiped it out and made $19 billion in liquidation of those contracts. So that is part of what you need to understand when you look at this liquidation data and what it means, what those individual contract means. And now that we've had that flush, look at the DCT heat map. We now have liquidations back to the upside. Now, let's go back to the basic TA. Here was, let's do this. Let me do this actually. Hold on, guys. I think I removed my fib. Did I remove my fib from here? We had a fib count. There it is. So this was actually this. If you watch yesterday's video, you're going to see that. This candle here, full candle close below, invalidated that. These were able to manage to work their way back up, but this candle here invalidated the continuation rule. And remember what the continuation rule is. You hit it, you bounce for a higher high. That didn't happen. So automatically, what do? That gets invalidated and we turn on our more of our consolidation zone. And look at what we did. We came right down to 786. We came down to our target, which is the purple line. We did a sweep and currently we're trying to regain it. Now, I don't expect a bounce when we hit the consolidation rule, because the consolidation rule is exactly what it implies. It's going to consolidate. It's going to take longer, which is why I'm always keen to paying attention to the continuation rule. The continuation rule implies a bounce, an immediate bounce. Within an hour to 3 hours, it'll bounce. That's what it normally does. When it invalidates, we have a much longer period of consolidation, of establishing that base. Now, this here is what I would like to see. But guess what? I can't think about this until we validate this move. And what I mean by that is, now that we've hit this, and if it holds, okay, I'm going to give you first the bull case, then we're going to switch to the bear case. So for the bull case, this is what I'm expecting. This is what I'm looking for. Not expecting, but what I'm looking for. I'm looking for consolidation in here today, maybe into tonight, or it could even happen for tomorrow's announcement on NVIDIA's earnings, because most analysts predict that's going to be a massive move in the market one way or another, depending on how those earnings go. And unfortunately for us, those, even though that's not crypto, it does affect the crypto markets. So we may consolidate in here, and it wouldn't be something out of the ordinary to consolidate here for a couple of days and establish that base, and especially when a day before major news announcement. So let's talk about the bull side. The bull side is, here's a significant cluster that we created in the past 12 hours, which is right here. I've already mapped that out. This view that I showed you was a 3-day view, but on the 12-hour view, I already looked at it and I mapped it out here. Now, once I have that, based on that information, I like to make a case for it. I like to make a reasonable, data-driven case why we should go up. Reason number one, we met our goal. We back-tested the bull break. That's reason number one. Reason number two, we came right into the consolidation fib and we're holding. That's reason number two. We came down to the daily 50 EMA that we left without a back test. We had an upthrust candle here. We left the 50 EMA, no back test. We back tested it this morning. All those are very bullish attributes for price action, which leads me to believe there's a bounce coming. But that bounce does not mean we're going to go here. We now have to invalidate a downtrend. This is a downtrend move. Because you and I want it to go here doesn't mean it's going to go there. We've now validated that we lost the top of that move and we're heading down. What does a downward trend look like? It looks like you have a low. You have a high, you have a low, lower high, lower low. That's the next thing that we need to invalidate. And that's the next thing we are forced as an analyst to look at. So what we're going to do here is we're going to put our fib from the bottom here. Let me turn there we go. I want to make sure the what do you call it? My magnet was on, so I get a really good reading on that. So what we're going to do here is we're going to slide this over, and we are now going to look for a lower high. We're not looking for a higher high. We're not looking for anything higher than this, because we're not allowed to. Just like we weren't allowed to put this box until we invalidate the continuation rule, we cannot assume that we're going to go any higher, because we've now begun a downtrend until invalidated. So for right now, when I look at this DCT heat cluster, this gives me a goalpost, something to bring the price up. I know that this is a big magnet because the market makers like to operate on liquidation. So they want to go up here and grab this liquidation. This is a pretty intense heat as well. So looking at this area here is going to get me, hopefully, that up thrust momentum to start heading into the lower high rule. Once I hit the lower high rule, I now have to be conscientious that we lost this channel. We confirmed the bear break. Do we come back up and back test this? That lines up perfectly with the bottom half of the lower high rule, which is a 0.618, and then put in our lower low, breaking this, and that's going to get us into our bear discussion. But before I do that, I want to complete my bull case. I want to see this. Market doesn't care what I want. So what do I have to do? On the lower time frames, I've got to have a clean close. Now I want you to look at this, and I don't want you to say this is a coincidence, because as an analyst, for somebody like myself who's been analyzing the markets for years, this isn't a coincidence. This is all part of the algos and the mathematics behind analyzing markets. Look at the medium line of that channel. Lines up absolutely perfect to the lower high rule, to the top of the lower high rule, the 786. Look at what we did here. We went right to the 786. Now look at where we're at here, 786, for another area of strong resistance. So do you see how when you understand how to use the mathematics behind measuring these moves, and i.e. the fibs, it starts to give you confidence. It starts to give you confirmation that's going to give you the confidence to then step in front of that trade and have a high probability of where it might go. As long as you don't lose the lower time frame support base that you're trying to establish. This hasn't established anything yet. One or two candles is nothing. That's still within a continuation rule of price action. And this is not a continuation rule price action. This is a consolidation zone that it went into. So one candle doesn't mean anything. I actually expect this candle to be breaking below this purple line and above it probably for the next 28 to 48 hours, or at least until we get that NVIDIA data, which won't happen till the end of tomorrow's business day in New York, which means at about 1 o'clock my time. So yeah, so probably with a day and a half or so, we should be inside of here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend this out because I think we're going to live in here a little bit longer. If we do it before, great. But I just want to give you what we normally look for, because I know people are going to be going out of their minds impatiently, wanting this to just confirm already. Nope. Market doesn't want you to do that. You know why? Because the market wants you to think that there's more downside to go. And there very well may be. And we'll look at those signs. But if you think there's more downside, if you don't understand that the probability is putting in a lower high, you're going to start shorting. And they want you to do that. Every time they push it down, the shorts pile up. They want you to do that. As a matter of fact, let me show you a visualization of what that looks like. This is a visualization. As they're bringing this price action down, look at these contracts. 82 million 100x. This olive color are all 100x contracts. Watch this. 82 million, 89 million, 75 million, 41 million, 39 million, 27 million, 25 million, 74 million, 47 million, 33 million. These just recently got liquidated. Let me give you the dollar amounts. 26 million 100x, 99, almost 100 million 100x, 33 million, 20, 33, 22, 68, wiped out in just a matter of minutes after they opened. Then they came down here, drop it, and what do you think they're going to do? Do you think that it benefits them to move up? Do you see what, during the process of putting in a proper market structure of a lower high, the probability that they're going to come and knock this out? But you know what will keep them from coming up here right away? If people start saying, hey, we're going to go up. We're going to go put that lower high because BC just put that on its contract. And they start aping into long contracts. Then you know what's going to happen? They're going to roll over and they're going to grab it. So don't think because I'm telling you and I'm showing you this here that it's a guarantee that we're going to go up. No, it doesn't work that way. It gives us the probability, but without that confirmation, It means absolutely nothing. So at the moment, for today, what I'm looking for, what most likely is going to happen is going to be a consolidation until we hit this. Now, here's where I'm going to flip. I think I made a good case for the bull. Even though a lower high isn't a bull, it's an intraday bull that may lead to a macro bear. Okay, and now we're going to talk about the bear case. We landed on our objective. Been talking about this on every video since we pushed up from here. Even before we pushed up from here, I talked about if we break up, we're going to come back and back test this. Finally, the day is here and we're good. Now, I also have been warning you guys, when we were here, V-shaped bottoms are not something that normally hold on higher time frames. I've done the homework. I went back years. I like using the Bitcoin USD index that goes all the way back to the beginning, the first day of Bitcoin trading on the market. It shows that history. That's the index. And I look back. Go to the daily and I scroll back and I scroll back and I look at the probabilities, how many times it's happened, how many times it's played out. I like doing that to give me the confidence that the probability is going to be on my side, that we're going at some point. We have the probability is we are going to come down here. To me, it's not a question of if, it's a question of when, until one thing happens. If we break above this channel that's been proven for 5 months and we start trading higher, this is going to be the 10% of the times that maybe it doesn't. That's when I stop looking for a confirmation and a liquidity grab here. Not every single heat cluster gets taken out. High probability they do. However, what the market does, give me 1 second. The high probability is that we are going to come down in here. So I now have to take into consideration many other factors. And one of those is like I mentioned the other day, and I mentioned again this morning, that seasonality. That could be it. So what I'm looking for on an intraday perspective, now that I look at this here and I saw that we go here, and if we're not going to do what I want to do and we are going to break down, it's simple. You come down into the intraday and you can't rely it. You can't base it on, better said, you can't base it on 1 or 2 candles or wicks. That's not it. I understand that we're going to be consolidating here for 24 to 48 hours, the norm. Today, tomorrow, the next hour or two, we can go right back up there. It doesn't mean it can't happen, but the probability, we're going to be here. What I don't want to see, and what's going to confirm that I'm wrong about this here, and you know what, I'm not really going to say it's wrong. It's just more of this option is not going to play out, because I'm not telling you that this is what's going to have to happen. There's 2 scenarios, and that's the reality of it. We're either going to go up or we're either going to go down. But how do we recognize to get in front of it? So this scenario may not play out if we do this. If we break below here on the hourly time frame and we start doing exactly, this is a picture perfect move of what to look for. As a matter of fact, you see where it says 63,787. I'm going to do this. I'm going to hide this. I'm going to hide the drawings. I'm actually going to hide everything. Hide all. And 67, 6 right here, 63, 687. So look at this cursor line, and then just look at the behavior of these candles. You see, this is where it consolidated underneath support, underneath resistance. So it's basically a picture of this. Picture of this right here playing out right in here. It's really that simple, guys. You don't need to complicate it. You don't need to be checking Twitter every 5 minutes to see who can come up with a plan that fits your bias, because that's often what people do. That's what I used to do. If I had a bias and I wanted the price to go up or I wanted to go down, I would go and I would look at all the posts on Twitter, and everyone that posts what I wanted to hear, I'd follow them. That's what I did. I was a noob. I didn't know any better. I didn't want to hear anyone's opinion that had a different objective than mine. I needed to hear what I needed to hear because I aped into that position, whether it's a long or I wanted to go down. Either or, that is what I wanted to hear. And unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. You need to hear both perspectives. Why? Because you need to plan for it. You need to know what to do. If you're in a long, you want to know where the signal is to get out to get out of that long. And if you want to take a short, you need confirmation. You need to know what the signs are to go into a short. Look, guys, this drop was a nice short. Really nice short. My team and I on our Discord team, I posted my gains this morning. It was nice. It was nice. Now, does it mean that I can't open another one? Absolutely not. I told you guys, I'm not the type of trader that will hold a position. And there's people that do that. And if it works for them, that's great. They will hold a position for weeks on end. Weeks on end. It's like, what? I'm here to take profit. I'm good enough. I believe that I have the enough talent where I can take multiple positions within those 3 weeks rather than holding something just to say, oh man, look, I'm up 30, 40%. I'm up 30 for weeks. You're not really up 40% if you haven't taken profit. That doesn't impress me. The fact that you can do one trade and hold it for 3 weeks, that's not a trader. To me, that's more of an investor. That's more of a long-term investor or swing trader. Swing trader is about 3 weeks, sometimes a month. You're not really a day trader. The ability to be able to grab these moves on an intraday basis, that is the hard part. Don't get me wrong. Don't think it's easy. It's not easy at all. That's why I've come up with a system on the lower time frames, 5, 15, and hourly time frames that shifts the probability, doesn't make it 100%. I take plenty of losses like anyone else, but I cut them quick. Yesterday, we got into a round of positions on my Telegram group that I called out. And within half hour, I had a call to get out. Get out. It was like a 2 to 4% losses on 4 positions, I believe. I think it was 4 positions. We got out. And that's the way trading goes. Anyone listening to this that does active day trading, they know how it is. Maybe they take, and that's why I don't want to take 10, 11, 12 positions for that reason. Not in a market like this. 4 might have even been pushing it too much. But there were some signs there that I thought we were going to go in one direction, and we did it. We did it. I got ahead of myself, and we had to get out. Perfect. No problem. We wait. Wait for those confirmations is going to allow you, if you have the patience to wait, it's going to allow you to shift the probability to your side for whatever position you want to take. So since we're talking about a bear case, a consolidation below this purple line very well may lead to something like that. What's the next move to the downside? What's our next area of support? In this particular instance, it's going to be the bottom of this horizontal channel. It's going to be right here. Why is that? Let's look to the left and you tell me. Look at the strong area of support and resistance. So, and this goes back 5 months. Look, that's the bottom of that. About 5 months going back. You can go on and on and on and on. And I've done that in plenty of videos, so you guys should know, should be very familiar with the bottom of this horizontal channel. Remember, this is the medium line of the diagonal. This is the horizontal. You know what? Let me make sure I'm saying this right. Just give me 1 second. Yep, there it is. So there's a horizontal. There's a purple line of the horizontal. There's the bottom of the horizontal of the diagonal. Jesus, diagonal. And this is the horizontal. So I'm going to erase it just for a second, just to show you. And the bigger, give me 1 second. Yes, the bigger one should be right there. Yeah, there's a top. No, I'm sorry. That is not correct. That's why I want to do this here. You know what? I'm going to remove this channel, guys, because I have too many. No, that is correct. So this is the top of the horizontal, the middle of the horizontal, and the bottom of the horizontal. I'm looking at this little small one that I did the other day for you guys. That's kind of messing me up. I'm going to erase that with you on the video. So let's go ahead and do this. Let me go back here. Let me put that one. Let me go to the hourly time frame, and we don't need this anymore. You guys, it served its purpose. So, and what it's doing, it's just really crowding my chart. So let's go ahead and remove this one here. Let's take this one out here. Boom, we'll do it live. So but you know what? I'm going to keep it. Let me explain to you why. I'm going to keep it because it goes back into our lower high rule. You know that when we come up here, I want to see what kind of fight we have here. This is going to matter. And I want to see if we climb above here, why that is, because of that strong area of support. So unfortunately, I'm going to leave it here for now. But at least you understand that this line here is going to have a very, very strong area of support. It's not that far down. Not that far down. So if we drop, there's a good area here. Now, if we lose this, that's a different story. Check this out. If we lose that, we're now going to the bottom of the horizontal channel. And that's right about $54,000. 55,000, 54 to 55, depending on where, obviously every day that goes by, it gets lower and lower. So it just depends on what day, if we are going to go down, at what day it falls. So if it falls today, for instance, it's 54,900. If it did it next Tuesday, it's 54,687. If it did it next Thursday or 2 weeks from now, it's 54,391. As you can see, it just depends on what day. But nonetheless, in this vicinity here is our next area. Now, we come down here, and I believe the probability is going to shift that we're going to finally take out that heat cluster down below, grab that liquidity, back test this. I believe this is the bottom of the cycle of this trend that we are in the past 5 months. I believe this is the bottom. I do not believe this is going to go lower. Could it go lower? Absolutely. Prove it to me. That's all I ask. Prove it to me, and then I will jump on board. Until then, I'm going to think this is the bottom. So those are basically the two areas, guys. Man, I've gone over my time. I'm at 30 minutes, but there was a lot of things to go over, and we did hit our target. And I would just wanted to be very, very clear of what our objective is. Don't forget, we still have this harmonic pattern. So if we do break to the bull, this is where I would see us going to 69,000. Hold on. 69.8, almost about close to 70,000. Close to 70,000 before we start dropping like this, unless proven otherwise. So I wanted to give you a good macro and intraday look of what to look for, because the macro is really important to see the zoomed out look, to understand the bull and bear case and look at the levels that we need to pay attention to. And then the intraday gives us the setups, the smaller time frames, confirmation that we're going to hopefully are going to start the ball rolling in whatever direction the market's going to take, whether it's to the upside, to the downside. It's got to start somewhere. And being able to recognize those before they start to happen, in my opinion, is very important, so you get the best price possible in whatever position direction you're going to take. Guys, if you don't want to learn this, or you think that it's a little overwhelming, and you want to make your successful trades on your fantasy paper trades, I can help you with that. It's $25 a month, and I will call out where to buy, where to sell, where your stop loss is. It comes up to 88 cents a day. Send me a DM on my profile here. Do not take any responses to any comments or any direct DMs. Those are going to be scammers. So I will not reach out to you. If I reach out to you, that's a 100% scammer. You can either send me a DM, or you can type this. Look, this is my website address. I'll put it right here. BCTG Signal. Oh, it's already there, actually. Oh, no. I'm sorry. I've got, that's for my Discord group. DCTG Signal. Why it keeps on doing? You know what? I have the where it does a shortcut, and it's not letting me do this. So I got to do this BC, and I got to take this off. There we go. tgsignal.com. My hopes is that you join this, and then you are going to want to learn how the process works, and you're going to join my Discord. As a matter of fact, when you become a member of my TG, what I started doing, I started giving away free passes. Once you're a member of here, every week or every 2 weeks, I'm going to give free passes for a week to my Discord group, just so you can understand the amount of content and the amount of educational content and the amount of and the value of the community that we have, to encourage you to move over to the Discord channel, so you can learn how to do this for yourself. Here, I give you the fish. In my Discord, I teach you how to fish, and I think that's a much more valuable lesson. So let's wait for today, guys, to see what we're going to do, which direction we're going to go. And tomorrow I'm leaving on vacation till next Monday, but I will try to provide these videos if I can. If not, I'll give you screenshot updates of this particular chart, and also of the high time frame chart. So at the moment, we don't know if this is going to play out. And here, I've got to do this. I have to be responsible, and I have to give you this scenario. I got to give you this scenario. I cannot just say up only. I have to show you this, because that's the reality of it. So we're going to do this. This is going to be to the downside. And if we do break up to the upside, it's going to be this. But there's one thing that I'm not showing you here, that I don't want to crowd the charts with a bunch of different views, that in order for this to work out, we have to invalidate this. And that's what I'm not showing you here. So I guess the proper way of doing this would be something like this. Up here, lower high, high, low, lower high, lower low. I guess that would be, honestly, probably the best way to go, keeping in mind that we may not put a lower high and go straight down. On this particular rejection, look at what we did. There was no lower high. This was not a lower high. It went from the top. We went literally dropped 70, 49. So what did we drop? That's $21,000 straight down. No lower highs. That's significant. That's a lot. Now, I'm sure if we look at the daily time, the hourly time frame, I'm sure there were lower highs. They weren't significant enough to show on the higher time frames. So they might have happened in here. Remember, in this candle, there's 24 hourly candles. So I'm sure there was some sort of structure here, but there was none on the daily. And typically we do see them, but we may not see them on this daily here. That's why I didn't do this here, because it may happen in the intraday inside of this candle, and it won't show by the time it hits here. So I am going to do this actually because of that, for that reason. For that reason, on the higher time frames, if we can break down, and again on the lower time frames confirm here, this is our next target to the downside. All right, guys, I hope this helps you, and I will be back with you guys tomorrow. Have a good day, everyone.